seems that we've got a slight weird offset on the grid. I'm sure they'll fix that when they come to setting up in double file to start this one. It'll be another 20 minutes. The weather seems like we've not had... been cloudy in a couple of the races, but we've not had the British weather play its part in this opening round. But here we go. Everyone will switch sides because the game will decide they need to be on the other side now. And it could be slightly shambolic as we try to get ourselves in the position that we're supposed to be to start this race. But it's at the front, Jasper Hofste in the Gamma Groningen Team Eurotech entry. And then Ice One are in 2nd and 5th. Callas in 2nd. Karppinen in 5th. Joe Manning will be one to watch from 4th position. There's the green flag, and we are racing for round 3 of the FRS Touring Car Championship as we come down towards turn 1. It's a good start from Hofste, and there's a little bit of contact there. Karppinen running into Povey and then into Manning at the same time. It all seems fairly clean. That's light body on the outside we're just focused on there. And everyone very well behaved as we come through Druids for the first time on this opening lap. So Hofste got away well. Oh, and at the back there's some real shambles there. That's Brad Spitt, I think, off the road. And was that possibly... No, it wasn't Chad Bradley. It was someone else off the road there. So a few cars coming together at the exit of Druids.
Yes, we're at the front. You got Hofste, who's you managed to keep cars behind him. Good clean start out front. We're all running sort of single file, although Joe's having a good lunge into Westfield against Povey and has managed to do it.
Yeah, Joe Manning already through, and now Povey under pressure from Karppinen, and Harkima's getting involved as well. These guys not hanging around. Lightbody just had to lift off there, and now McDermott as well at the back of this crowd is in on the action as well. We're on board with the Scottish driver. And you can see just how much jostling is going on. McDermott taking to the grass to try and get past his countryman Tom Lightbody. Extremely aggressive move, but it's given him the inside line as they go into Sheen Curve.
Clearways.
Clearways. One of the corners.
That right-hander.
Yeah.
But yeah, McDermott's having a good start of the race as he dives down the inside into Paddock Hill, and he's going to be side by side, a bit of contact, and off goes a big peak car. Yeah, a bit of door banging there. McDermott has got away with an incident that time. Usually he's the one who loses out, but yeah, Lightbody was a big loser on that one. He's lost a few places now. He lost 4 places from that move, as we see another dive down the inside into Surtees, yeah, between the two teammates.
Yeah, the two CBA Team KRO entry cars there. Williams getting past his Hungarian teammate Soros and up into 9th position. Hofste still leads this one, but it's very, very close up at the front between the top 5 or 6 cars. And you see Harkima all over the back of Teemu Karppinen, who is once again defending very, very heavily.
Yeah, Lightbody had a massive oversteer coming out of Hawthorns.
Oh, that's going to be an accident. There was contact there between Harkima and Karppinen. They're somehow still both pointing in the right direction, but... Oh, and there's contact. McDermott was on the inside of Harkima. I think they've both got away with it. But it's all kicking off.
Yep, Hawkson back up the inside of Clearways, but Connor shut that one down. But he might run wide here on the exit of Clearways. He does get a bit of a snap of oversteer. So this is going to give Hawk a good run as we see Williams on the gravel out on the start-finish straight, which is an unusual line to be taken.
Joe Manning's taking the lead here, and Jasper Hofste's down to 5th position. Karppinen's running wide. Hofste's lost 4 places. And he must have made a mistake somewhere because he's all the way down. But it's all action all over the place here. We've got Lightbody up the inside of Williams and Soros there. And Soros is going to rejoin the racing line. Thankfully, his teammate doesn't run into him. That's Acton. He's down the inside in the Beamaroo car. So now Joe Manning leads from Juha Kallas and MJ Povey.
So to clear up what happened there, it looked like Hofstee had got overtaken by Manning into Sterling, and then as they came down the clearways, Callas went up the inside of Hofstee and had a bit of a bang on the wheels, and Hofstee ran off wide, and that's allowed Povey and Carpenter to get past him down the start-finish straight. So that's what's put Hofstee back into P5 at the moment.
So Manning looking set fair to possibly get another win here, and that would help him put his stamp on a championship challenge here in the FRS TCC. So Ice One Racing now running P2 and P4 with Callas, the John Lemon Trophy driver, who you'd expect to be a little slower than his teammate, edging right up towards the back of Joe Manning here.
Indeed, it's yeah, Joe's not getting away out in front. Obviously, he'll have a bit of ballast on board in comparison to the drivers around him, or a bit more ballast. So we'll see if that affects him in the slightest. But it didn't really seem to be making too much difference from race 1 to race 2. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that gap. It's currently 0.8 of a second, and it's been sort of held there for the last half a lap. So we'll see if that extends or shrinks between the top two drivers. But
there's some great fighting going on here. Look at this. We've got, so Hofstee lost out to both McDermott and to Tom Lightbody there. He's dropped all the way down to 9th position now as the pole sitter. He's just really out of the rhythm of the race at this point. He's losing positions hand over face. Timo Karppinen's moved up to 3rd place, so we've currently got both Ice One racing cars on the podium. There's a 3-way fight here between Karppinen, Povey and Harkema.
And we've got Lightbody down the outside of McDermott coming into Hawthorns, but yeah, for Hofstee, it's one of these that you once you lose one place, you tend to lose a bunch of them. As McDermott goes wide, and that allows Lightbody to get through as they go down in the Westfield. But yeah, and McDermott taking a little bit of a
the scenic route,
on the track limits there, but you know, nothing. It doesn't seem to be any lasting advantage gained. But yeah, I mean, looking slightly behind, we've got Soros with Williams and Akdinis and Nordermeer and even Bradley all within, you know, a second and a half of each other.
We need to look a little bit further back than this, don't we? Because Nordermeer is fighting with Bradley and Akdenis. Bradley in the Chess.com Racing with Guinness car. And this is a real scrap between these three. But then further up the field, we've got a lot of fighting. McDermott and Lightbody still going at it. As coming to Paddock Hill Bend. And the two teammates just ahead of us, Soros and Williams. Also, no, still, there's Akdenis down the inside of Nordermeer. Akdenis had such good pace in race 1, and then ever since that incident that threw him down towards the back of the field, he's just not really been able to recover through, has the Turkish driver.
He hasn't, unfortunately. I don't know whether that's just sort of it's one of those that you can't really get the when sometimes running in the pack, as we see Akdenis getting side by side in the 30s there with the chess.com BMW. Managed to keep it fairly clean up now, but there's a bit of door banging going in. We got is it Bradley who's coming down now on the outside into Hawthorns. He's going to run around the outside.
Yeah, it's going to be brave to stick it out round there. Sumner has lost a couple of positions. He's lost out to Lightbody and McDermott, the two Scottish drivers, very much moving through the field at a similar rate of knots here. And Sumner down to 8th. Hofstee still hanging on to this group in 9th place, but Manning leads and has now got a 2-second gap over Callas. Harkema's up to 3rd, and Karppinen's now down to 5th place.
Yeah, there's a good battle between Oscar Summer and Conor McDermott. As they come out the last corner, McDermott's been defending slightly, and it's allowing Summer to sort of be to look, you know, potentially be trying to set up a move here, but coming down to the paddock, it's still nose to tail. It's some of the balls go flying, certainly on my screen anyway.
Another strong defence from Karppinen just up the road. There's the two teammates side by side, Soros and Williams. In the background, Akdenis and Nordermeer still going at it hammer and tongs. And Bradley as well. These three not getting a moment's peace in this one.
Yeah, as Bradley's going to go around the outside of Graham Hill Bend. That's going to be a bold move. He's got to settle back in there as they come come down into circuits. But yeah, like you said, action all over the place. No matter which way you look.
I mean, Soros and Williams up the road there seem to be formation flying. They're side by side halfway around the circuit. Williams is now just ahead of the Hungarian driver. Karppinen's now down into 6th place because Tom Lightbody is through. There's 2 Scotsmen are really motoring now.
Yeah, it looks like Lightbody was catching Karppinen quite quickly there, so it's no surprise to find him overtaking Karppinen there. So yeah, kind of that was a sort of copy and paste from race 2, as we've seen.
So a couple of Team Eurotechs here. Sumner just ahead of his teammate Hofstee. I think Hofstee will probably be disappointed to be as far down as 9th position, given that he started at the front. But then the fight between Bradley and Nordemir
still a long way to go.
Continues apace.
Oh, half race distance down. This is there's half the race to go. And yeah,
Walker.
Yeah, still lots of battle raging. We got the 96 car of Williams has been off the track on the exit of Paddock Hill, and he's lost a couple of spots. He's filtered in back in between Actonese and Nordemir.
Oh, just what that fight needed, another car adding to it.
Yeah, Actonese has managed to pull a bit of a gap on Nordemir now that he's got to get a bit of rhythm going. He's catching up to that Soros quite quickly. But yeah, I think Williams just ran a little bit wide coming out of Paddock Hill. Hit the gravel and just lost his momentum. So yeah, there's some paint flying all over the place.
McDermott and Sumner having a big old scrap here, and Sumner's got a good run here as they come out of the right-hander. You can see ahead of us Povey. Oh, that was a solid door bang there to barge McDermott off the course.
Yeah, it almost seemed like McDermott wasn't thought that he had the line in the corner, because he looked like he just sort of turned in on Sumner there. So, but yeah, looking at just a bit further ahead there, Karppinen, Povey has been overtaken by Lightbody, and now Karppinen is right in the back of Povey there. As we got the 99 car of Hofstee is round at the coming out of Sterling's.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's lost a car, and Hofstee's going to drop all the way. That's a disappointing result for Jasper Hofstee. He started up in pole position here, but losing out, and Karppinen forces his way past MJ Povey. But look at that fight in the background. Cars all over the circuit here.
Yeah,
oh, and that's a huge dive down the inside from McDonese. Oh, and there's contact that spins around Soros. I imagine Soros was so focused. I think McDermott's now back in this fight as well, actually. I'm not sure what's happened to Conor McDermott there. But I think that the dive from Actonese was so strong that Soros was probably so focused on that he didn't see his teammate. He sort of pulled back onto the racing line and didn't see that his teammate was there.
Well, it possibly might have been a bit of that, but also Williams might have seen the door open and thinking that he could stick his nose up the inside and try and make a place himself. So probably a little bit of from both ends of the both sort of sides of the drivers there. But yeah, it's one of those, like you said, you lose one position and you could end up being freight trained and losing about 4 or 5 places with the racing being as close as it is.
So let's try and assess where we are with 7 minutes to go in this race as Karppinen runs wide and lets Povey have a run at him as they come down towards the final corner of Clearways. Strong defence again from the Finn to hold that one off. So Manning leads and is almost 5 seconds clear of Juha Kallas in the Ice One Racing car. Harkar Kima is third. Tom Lightbody's now a comfortable 4th. And then this is the fight for 5th place with MJ Povey trying to go round the outside of Teemu Karppinen.
No, watch out though, because Sumner's now having the right in the back of these.
Yeah, it's a 3-way fight. Cannot discount the Eurotech car of Oscar Sumner here. About 6 minutes to go in this race, and I mean the fight towards the back of the field. Look at this. So many cars. We've now got Kuma involved in this as well. Great racing here in the Touring Car Series.
Certainly is. Not, we expected it, and that's what we've been given. So yeah, trying to keep up to date with what's going on. Looking at the track map, it just seems that there's battles all over the place. We got Bradley and McDermott fighting quite strongly into Hawthorns. Looks like McDermott's on the defence as he comes now into Westfield, but yeah, the track map is just full of cars very close to each other.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, if I point the camera at this battle, then something will happen in the other battle. Very difficult to know where to go. And there's Carpenter wide and off the circuit again. And can Povey find a run through? It's the widest BMW in the field, that Ice One racing car. And again, Carpenter holds position. But for how long can he withstand? Povey's now on the inside. He's got the inside line for Paddock Hill Bend. And you've got to fancy the Welshman's chances now as they come down into turn 1.
You do, but Carpenter's sticking around the outside. He's braking really late. He's going to run a little wide, but yeah, Povey's going to get the inside into Druid, so this should be done, move done, but Sumner's going to be...
There's a bit of banging there, bit of wheel banging, and they're all pointing the right direction, which is the important thing. Great racing here between the three.
Yeah, that 88 car of Carpenter has been the widest BMW known to man. I think he's turned up in an M8 rather than M2. But he's looking down the inside now.
He's going to send one here into Surtees. And then
the
switchback from Povey.
Yep. It could even be 3 wide coming down the straight here, so Carpenter might have lost out of position because he's not been able to get a good run out of Surtees.
Yeah, Sumner's got a great run, and Sumner might get the pair of them here as they come down towards Hawthorn Bend.
Yeah, he could he said set himself up through Hawthorns and maybe into Westfield because it looks like Povey's just ran a little bit wide. And there's I thought he might have just tried to stick his nose up there, but he's going to sit back in and set himself up for maybe moving to Sterling's clearways, or who knows. It's this rate, it could happen at any time.
Got 3.5 minutes to go. Carpenter's got such a good run through Dingledale.
He's thrown that.
He can't throw it down the inside there, surely not. And there's inevitable contact, and they're somehow pointing the same way. Actonese gets past a pair of them.
Oh, there's another bang between them as they come down in the clearways.
That felt a little rude from the Finn.
Yeah, I mean, he got a good run through Sheen Curve, but yeah, throwing it up the inside like that into Sterling's, it's not really much of a heavy braking zone. They're still rubbing wheels as they go down the start-finish straight. So this battle is not done yet. And yeah, Carpenter's on the outside of Paddock Hill again, but he might get the switchback this time. Sumner's going a little bit wide, but he's got the move done as McDermott runs a little bit wide out of Paddock Hill, but he's managed to keep it going.
Contact. Carpenter was too late on the brakes, and we've got 2 cars spun around and stationary on the circuit. That allows McDermott and Bradley to get through. It just felt for a moment there like Carpenter was a little late on the brakes coming into turn 2, and he's just running to the back of Sumner, and it's kind of spoiled both of their evenings.
Well, I was questioning whether we'll get this sort of race in race 3 with it being the last one of the evening, and it's certainly going to be the case. Yeah, Carpenter, I don't know whether he's got a bit of red mist or whether he's just trying a little too hard to make the moves and the overtakes, but yeah, that's another incident that he's been involved in where it could have potentially been avoided.
2 minutes to go, just about, and Povey in 5th place is defending from the Turkish driver Gürkan Akdeniz, who has come through the field from, he was fighting for 12th place not too long ago, and now all of a sudden, just with a few clean laps, it doesn't take much more than a few clean laps to suddenly be up fighting for 5th position.
We were talking with him fighting for Nordemy and Williams, who are now down in 10th and 11th respectively. So yeah, he's made some good progress, like you said, with a good few laps. But Povey's had a little bit of snap oversteer on the exit clearways, and this is going to give a good run for Actonese down the start-finish straight. He might end up trying to go for a switchback here, as Povey's a little bit defensive going into Paddock Hill. There he goes. There's a bit of a tighter line coming out of Paddock Hill. He's going to get the overrun into Druids.
We've seen him do this once before, and he is on the inside. Povey's going to have to stick this one out the long way around in the Tesco Motors with Rich Energy car. That's a good defence from Povey. I think they were both fair there. Meanwhile, we've got a fight for 2nd place brewing between Jua Callas. You have to tell me how to pronounce that first name. I do apologise. I think it's Jua. Jua?
Yuha, I think.
Yuha. Thank you, Dan.
I could be wrong, but I think it's Yuha.
your guess is as good as mine. Apologies to everyone in Finland. But that fight for second place is kicking off. Meanwhile, I was going to say that Lewis Williams is glued to the back of another car, but he's more often been glued to the side of other cars. Seems to be side by side with cars constantly this evening.
Yeah, he's not been short of action as Williams. So he's definitely getting his money worth this evening. That's for sure. We've still got the battle racing for fifth as Acton is still trying to find a way through on Povey. Some stout defensive driving from Povey here.
We're on the final lap. Joe Manning, who we've not seen at all in this race, so comfortable is his lead. Manning starts the final lap, but the Turkish driver seems to have more pace than the Welshman here.
Yeah, I think Nordemir has just had an incident. He's dropped behind Williams now. I think he ran wide out of Sheen Curve, so he's dropped down to 11th.
Hark has sent it on Callas, and Hark is through. Harkima up into second position. I'm just going to run that back and catch on the replay. He's dived to the inside. Callas leaving plenty of space. And Harkima moves up into second place in the Neon Falcon racing car. Meanwhile, Povey continues this stout defence, and McDermott is catching all the time, these two.
Yeah, this is almost a carbon and wide BMW M2 BMW here coming into onto the final lap, or on the final lap currently at the moment. Sorry, but yeah, can Povey hang on? They're now coming out into the Grand Prix circuit, so that's half the lap done. It's half the lap to go, and there's not many places that you can overtake. Not many sort of really sort of heavy braking zones, but Povey's running a little wide. Acton needs to get a little bit of a sniff here coming into the next right-hander, and again there's a little bit of a switchback, but
we're going to stop you, Dan, because the Archduke of Brands Hatch this evening is Joe Manning. He comes across to win for the second time this evening for Sebia Team KRO. Joe Manning wins by a landslide here in race 3.
Sorry, we've had a bit of an accident with Acton. Has been spun around, I think, by McDermott, and he's still going, but he's lost that position. So Povey's fifth place is secure here as they come across the line.
Yeah, so Harkima second, Callas gets a podium for Ice One Racing in third, Lightbody fourth, Povey fifth, McDermott sixth, Acton is seventh, Chad Bradley with a great drive to 8th place, Karppinen in 9th, and Lewis Williams just in 10th. Karppinen dropped off quite heavily towards the end of that race. Nordemir in 11th place, Brad Spitt in 12th, then Kuma, Hofste, who'd be very disappointed to come home in 14th. Still gets a couple of points for that, but it could have been so much more. And David Soros gets the final point in the Sebia Team KRO racing car.